And one of the boys on Facebook, who also follows the channel, who happens to have a beautiful original paint two-tone 40, has asked me, what about the chain guards? So we're going to make this video primarily about chain guards, but we're going to introduce some other evidence to support what I'm going to tell you about chain guards. It's important to understand, especially pre-war, Harley-Davidson was a very small factory. The founding fathers were on a first-name basis with all the dealers, with new dealers. The founding fathers were still actively recruiting themselves new dealers. It's in the invoice with substantiating letters that I've posted on the YouTube. We have the letters from Arthur Davidson recruiting the dealer. It's just a small guy with a little bike shop going, man, we want you to be the dealer here and we'll help you out with a floor plan. The founding fathers. This is how small a factory it was at the time. This is in 39. This is a 38 model. So now before I get to the chain guards, what I'm going to show you is a preponderance of evidence to back what I'm about to say about the chain guards. What you have is a small factory with hand-built stuff with authorization, as long as it's the general idea, for the foreman, the guy that's in charge of making the part, as long as it's in the same general shape of what they want to do. Boom, let's use it, let's see how it works. Here we have the front chain guard, or chain guard, I think crash bar, R38. You can see it's the square bend, what people think of as the late 36, 37, 38, early 39 front crash bar. And this is what we think of as the mid-year, if you will, 39, 40, possible 41 front. Now I put you can look it up, Hunting Harley's front crash bars. Laid them all out, went over the whole bike, discovered massive differences in bending. It's like who was ever on bending duty. Okay, so it's the same thing. Who was on tank duty? Who was on fender duty? Who was on chain guard duty? What did he want to do? Whatever the fuck he wanted. As long as it's the same general idea. They didn't go, don't use none of that, we're going to use these. They used it all up. And they invented as they went. The whole thing was an experiment, low production stuff. And they're a factory. They're building it in-house. They built their frames, they built their fenders, they built their tanks, they built their motors, they built their trainings, they did it in-house. So, let's look at some enthusiasts with some actual pictures. Here's a November 38 enthusiast. We have photos. We have photos. Now this is November 38. Okay. See that stripe there? This is a 38. Curved crash bar. It's big twin. See the toolbox? Here's another one. Look at the tank. Look at the stripe. Square crash bar. Both 38s. Here's another one. 38. See the fender? Curved crash bar. You follow? Let's look at some more. .38, no question, custom two-tone. Look at that. Curved front crash bar. Says it right here. 3861. Curved front crash bar. Here's another one. This is an early one. Looks like a 36. Doesn't say. Looks like a 36. Looks like a 36. Totally different bend to the front crash bar. Not what we think of as a complete square front crash bar. Not quite a curved crash bar either. See, the square crash bar came from the VL days. That's a VL. So 36. See how square that is? Oh, even though this is not a crash bar video, we're going to switch over to the chain guards and discuss that in just a second. What I'm showing you is, this is factory stuff, man. 39 Harley Davidsons. Look at that square crash bar on a 39. Brand new. This is December 38. That's a brand new bike. On display. Boom. A 39 with a square crash bar. So yes, they did use them in early 39. Here's the photo. Shut up. Go away. Proof, evidence. You cannot argue this. Okay. There's a square one on a trike. And in the same photo, here's a 39 with a curved crash bar. Early 39. So, who was on bending duty that day? They just grabbed them out of the box and they used it. They didn't go, well, you can't use that. That's not a square one. It ain't in the catalog. Catalog? Catalog? Well, here's the 39 right here. September 38, this is the show issue. That's a photo. Hello, that's not an artist, that's a photo. And that ain't no square crash bar, pal. That's a curved one with a little slide bend to it. That's a square crash bar. Look at that, straight edge, see? Boom, boom, it's on a 45. Doesn't matter. See, note the missing toolbox, 45 Sabo on the left side. That's how you know that one was a big twin. That, there, show issue, is very close to that crash bar. Who was on bending duty that day? You follow what I'm saying? Who the fuck was on bending duty that day? That's why I had to use these spacers here. Who was on bending duty that day? Okay? They're not the same. They're not a cookie cutter motorcycle. That's a myth. That is not reality. So, let me put this back on the little tripod, and we're going to get out some chain guard information. Okay? So, you can look at that beautiful bike. Let me get the chain guard off of it. I didn't put it back on, which I'm really glad I didn't, because now we can have it in hand. So 38, what we think of as common knowledge, if you will, has a riveted chain guard. This is a mid-year, later edition 38 with a riveted chain guard. Beautiful shape, beautiful original paint like the rest of the bike. Well, some people might go, well, how do you know they didn't change the chain guard? Okay, well, I suppose that's possible. It would require the need to change the chain guard. If the chain guard was fucked, so would the inner primary, so would the oil tank. It lost the chain, it rusted out. There'd be other indication of needing to change. So chances are, this is the chain guard this bike got sold new with. Chain guards have this thing called grease all over the fucking thing that preserves it. If you're going to argue that point to me, nothing I say is going to matter to you because I'm saying it. Shut up, go watch somebody else's YouTube. Don't even get on my channel. I don't want to talk to you. So, go to Motor Nation TV. Maybe you'll learn something else. I don't care. Anyhow, now, let's take a look at some other bikes. That's our 38. I don't have a 39, but we just looked at some beautiful photos, from the day, and saw obvious differences. An immediate in 39, total different bend. They did the same thing with everything, guys. It was very similar, but it wasn't exact. Okay, and they made variations, and it wasn't like, at this motor number, we gotta make this new part. Didn't happen, man. Stop smoking the crack pipe. Enough already. So this is 1845. Okay. I have no proof other than this is the way I got the bike. Other than, gee, we got some beautiful photos. But why would the fuck would they change the chain guard? Well, They probably didn't. Massive grease all over the thing. Why the hell would you ever change that thing? It would have to crack or break or whatever. No rivets. We have 3 spot welds hidden under that grease. Second piece in the back. How do I know they got 3 spot welds? Well, I've had them cleaned. I've looked at them. Can't tell it on that bike because it's dirty. It's got that magic preservative called grease. So let's go take a look at this bike. Quite a bit cleaner underneath that paint. You can see evidence of them. There's seems to be 4 spot welds on this one. Okay. Why would there be 4? Because that's what the guy fucking felt like doing. You understand? That's what the guy felt like doing. I'll try this now. That sounds like a good plan. Send it out the door. Let's take a look at this one. Can't tell. Can't tell at all. Who was on spot weld duty that day? How good was he? Can't tell at all. So, I suppose magically every fucking bike here's had their chain guard replaced, right? Stop smoking this crack pipe, pal. Okay, let's look at this one. I can see 1, 2 spots. I can't see if there's any more or not. I'd have to have the thing off. Again, magically preserved by that thing called grease. Okay? So somewhere between late 38 and early 40, they came out with the spot welded chain guard. At what point in time? Couldn't begin to tell you. I don't have enough original paints. If I had another 50 of them here, between 38 and 40, we might be able to figure something like that out. But it's not going to be by motor number. It's going to be what the guy felt like doing, what he grabbed out of the bin. And that's the reality of it. Here we've got another one. Again with that magical grease preservative. And we can't see where the spots are. So again, it's like I said, who was on spot welder duty that day and how good was he? Some of these guys were really good at their jobs and some of them sucked. Just like any other factory. So, that's that. You know, I've got a few bikes here to compare. I don't see anybody else lining up a bunch of original paint bikes and comparing their shit. So, if you want to talk crap on my channel, which I've been getting a little bit of, if you can't produce your own videos, if you can't produce your own original paint machines and your own documentation, go away and play your own little sandbox in your own little world. We'll see you guys on the next video.